You talk about the junglers, right? And it feels like the jungle picks for these two players are like a time capsule from 11.6, right? I think it's been Udyr and Hecarim for Carioca. It's been an Udyr and a Volibear for Elyoya. Now, of course, the Udyr pick is still very high priority list. We've seen a lot of Rumble bans in these guys' games are taken away from them. So that is sort of my question is, do we get to see some mages in the jungle for these two players?
Let's find out this game. As we can see, both Rumble and Morgana available for now. Senna, Varus, Draven removed from the pool. Despite the old boy, BRTT, he's still drawing respect bans for his signature pick. Looks like a pretty happy state of mind on the Pain Gaming side of things. We'll see what they have in store for this draft. Reminder that the only 100% pick ban champion thus far has been Rumble. It is still available, and Udyr will be removed from the pool. Volibear was the second option, and Elyoya has run.
I think we're looking for a Rumble.
I think so too. Let's find out if it gets banned here by Pain. Has been significantly more banned than played. Only 3 wins and 2 losses.
To me, it seems like if you're looking at MSI, if you have a jungler that feels confident like the Rumble, the Morgana is, well, Rumble gets banned away, so we'll see what happens with the Morgana instantly locked in. If you have a jungler that can play these very powerful mage junglers on the patch and a mid laner that can play an aggressive AD champion like a Tristana or a Lucian, maybe even a Jace, these sorts of things, well, you're going to be very, very successfully able to take over the game because your jungler is just ahead in the levels, ahead in golden experience, and your mid laner always has prio to make use of it too. So that sort of feels like the bread and butter in a lot of these drafts here, and I would love to see something like a humanoid Lucian perhaps and bring that one out for him.
Humanoid has played Lucian once during the course of the spring season. Correction, 3 times, sorry. 3 times on the Lucian, 1 Tristana. So getting the wrong ones. One of the things I also want to see is how Elyoya is going to handle this Morgana. He was known as a cerebral jungler throughout the course of the spring split. We praised his decision making and his pathing, and we've seen just how influential this pick can be. On the other side for Pain, it is Jinx and Olaf secured, as well as Aphelios for Karlsson.
All right, probably just going to be locking in the Thresh now, and that does a couple of great things, because A, you love to put a Thresh next to Aphelios. This is an LEC staple, just gives him so much protection with the Lantern. Of course, Aphelios can do some nasty things when you have a Lantern ready and a Black Shield, and also, well, Thresh, one of the better pairings you can put next to a Jinx on the other side, and with BRTT wanting to lock that one in very early, it now sends Lucy onto a Tahm Kench. Lucy, of course, can play the Tahm Kench, and especially right next to the Jinx is going to be a strong pairing, but it is down a tier, I would say, compared to the Thresh and the versatility that that champion can give you.
And of course, we've seen that Thresh actually banned several times, so not the only team that's currently picking that one. Duo lanes locked in, junglers locked in, so solo laners will now be the next targets and things to figure out. That Lucian that you were talking about just a moment ago has now been banned away by Pain Gaming. And obviously these solo lanes can have such a huge influence on how the teams will play the 3 locked-in champions.
Absolutely, and I think for Pain here, maybe just looking at like a Gnar blind pick, something for Robo, one of his more played champions. Of course, yesterday I think he was actually rocking the Karma right next to a Hecarim in the jungle, so Karma next to Olaf makes some sort of sense there too, especially if you're trying to bolster up BRTT and Tinones as your primary carry. So I like that Mad Lions are trying to attack that a bit, and we'll see what Robo ends up going for, because when you have like a Jinx in the game, especially, it could be a little bit more bot lane focused here.
I mean, that Gnar pick you talked about, 7 games played in the CBLOL for Robo. He won 6 of them, so a lot of experience. Armut, on the other hand, he's played 10 games of Gnar, won 5 of them, and we've seen how prevalent that pick has been. Orianna will be the next ban, removing that one from Humanoid. And where will Mad Lions decide their final ban? Mad Lions will need to lock in both of their solo laners, and that means Pain can elect which one of them they want to allow the counter pick.
Okay, so Armut doesn't want to have to go up against the Nocturne. They faced in the top lane again yesterday. Now Pain with a very important question. Who gets counter pick between Robo and Tinones?
Yeah.
Armut, of course, has looked very good on some spicier pocket picks like the Wukong towards the top side of the map, and they are going to go ahead and select the Zoe now for Tinones, which I don't know. I'm a little bit mixed on this one because Mad Lions have so many great options of dealing with it. First of all, Black Shield is the most anti-fun Zoe counter in the game. You don't even have to use it before the sleep lands. You can use it afterwards. No skill required. On top of that, you also have the Lantern, which you can click before the sleep comes through. So Tinone's, of course, going to feel confident on this champion as his most played, but this is not the easiest game to lock in a Zoe.
No, really not. One thing to call out, though, with the range abilities there is some tools that will be able to use as the game progresses. Lee Sin will now be locked in as one of the solo laners here for the Mad Lions. And I'm very interested to see whose hands it will land up in. And now, Kog'Maw?
AP Kog'Maw mid. It's time, baby. Humanoid. I think he's played that before. We've seen AP Kog'Maw like 2020 in the LEC, but this has to be the expectation. Trying to go in and say, well, you locked in this Zoe thinking, oh, we don't have anything better than it. But, well, Humanoid on a Kog'Maw, especially level 11, level 16, when you get those huge range spikes on the Kog'Maw, there's nothing really that a Zoe can do to try and match it in the fights. And Mad Lions already have so many excellent peel tools that I feel like this is a crazy pick, but I really don't like the Zoe, and that makes me really think that Mad Lions have something going here.
Humanoid has played one professional Kog'Maw game, and it was a loss, unfortunately. But one of the things I do see thematically is two low mobilities, damage-dealing champions in Aphelios and Kog'Maw, and then dive and chase with the Camille, the Olaf, the possibility of the Tahm Kench as well.
Yeah, so I think as far as like rounding it out for Pain, Camille is probably going to be one of the better options to send into a game like this, because you really have to figure out a way to isolate either an Aphelios or a Kog'Maw. And, well, with a Lantern, a Black Shield, like I've mentioned a million times before, that's very, very hard. Now, with a Lee Sin in the game, there's still tools like you can just kick Camille out of her ultimate, and then that cancels it, and you're going to feel pretty sad here. So for Pain Gaming, I feel like you need to act quickly in this game. AP Kog'Maw in the later stages is going to be so impossible for their composition to deal with that I think that a lot of pressure is going to be on Carioca in the jungle and Robo on this Camille to make this early game work.
You have to get onto those targets. You have to get rid of them, because if Mad Lions are in an advantageous position and can start pushing out the poke with that living artillery, it is going to be so difficult to break through. And of course, any of those champions that have the ability to poke from range ever get an advantage, one of the only ways to counter that is with engage. But there are tools here on Pain Gaming's side. So let's turn our attention to the opening minutes of gameplay. Olaf versus Morgana, and then this very, very interesting Kog'Maw Aphelios Thresh.
Yeah, well, the mid lane is really going to end up determining a whole lot in terms of the jungle matchup, because again, similar to like how we're talking about in the last game, Carioca has a lot of strong fighting in the early game, right? So you do favor him a little bit over the Morgana, and it is not the AD aggressive laning champion that we're maybe considering that Humanoid might lock in next to Elyoya's Morgana.
Just quickly, if you take a look at the Verizon 5G all chat call out, Kaiser, obviously one of the German players here for the Mad Lions, typing out 7-1. Now, for some of the viewers who don't know the football references, that is, of course, a Germany versus Brazil World Cup record. Let's see whether or not Kaiser can actually help Mad Lions pick up a victory here today. That's a little bit of insulting.
You hate to see it, man. You hate to see it.
I wonder, do all the CBLOL fans get that graphic as well? I don't know if our producers can hear me. I'm gonna find out, because I'd love to hear what they're thinking about.
Not going to be a lot of happy fans if they do. I will say that much.
I just got confirmation. It's unfortunately not on the CBLOL broadcast. And yes, I said unfortunately. I think it would have been very, very fun. Let's get back to the early game here. It looks like Pain are starting to group up and step forward, but there is a ward here that will spot them out.
Yeah, well, it may not even end up mattering, because you'll notice again, Elyoya leashless on the top side, so a little bit slow to get through all of that. And I really like this from Pain Gaming, right? Tahm Kench level 1, very, very powerful. Zoe doesn't even feel that bad about taking an E if there were to be some sort of pick, and you've got a whole lot of axes too. So Carioca will be able to steal away this red buff, probably even clears all 3 of these camps, and it's very hard for Elyoya to do much about it. You'll notice in the mid lane, I don't think that, like, my expectation would not be that Humanoid can get full control over this lane, especially when Tinones, can sort of use the Q to freely hit away a lot of these minions. Humanoid does have the initial push for the time being, but not quite enough here with Carioca so close by, still being spotted out by that ward, I believe, as he steals the Raptors.
This makes Humanoid think a little extra about his positioning and where he's going to play out. So a lot of information gained, and see what Elyoya can do on his pathing and how much more he may end up losing. Tinones and Carioca will just shake hands in the middle lane. While that was going on, we saw a pretty big trade between Armwood and Robo on the earlier levels.
Okay, so Elyoya is level 3, right? Hasn't actually skilled up a 3rd point in case he needs to have the Black Shield. Of course, the smite comes through from Carioca, and Elyoya gets 2, 3, maybe creeps. This does mean that Carioca is still level 2, and Humanoid has been working the mid lane. Carioca, because he was very low mana, didn't use a Q or anything to help Tinones get the push out, so So it means that with both mid and top lane priority, Elyoya is still going crazy inside the jungle here.
Continues to put pressure onto this Olaf. Armut is chunking out Robo, and in the mid lane, Humanoid is shoved all the way up to the tower. Elyoya did put their point in Black Shield.
Tinones just gave up on mid lane, right? So this is now Elyoya still committing to try and see if he can get a steal. Karioka does have smite. All comes down to this, and Elyoya gets it. It's massive here. The early pathing from Karioka was winning from him, but crucially, Elyoya got a couple of those creeps, right? Karioka was not able to hit level 3 because in his first 3 camps, he did not include either a Gromp or those Krugs. And it means that Elyoya can then work off his lane priority to get the red buff steal and mechanically out-execute Karioka.
And this is a little bit what we were talking about. Elyoya as a player and the impact that he's had throughout the course of spring. Very, very aware, very intelligent in how he's played the game out. So we'll have that small advantage for now. Humanoid continues to pressure in this mid lane. And let's talk about this Kog'Maw just a little as it begins to level up and itemize. Do you like this as an option into what we're seeing from Pain? As Karioka will complete his blue buff.
I mean, like I said sort of in the draft, I really like this Kog'Maw. This idea for Mad Lions always having that scaling element. And, well, Elyoya is even using the Kog'Maw, using the Thresh to get into the jungle. It's massive. It's a first blood for Elyoya.
The observers playing that one perfectly. There was no information. Karioka had no idea. And Mad Lions in the first 4 minutes have a game plan, have coordinated, and have executed flawlessly.
Not all hope is lost. Lucy was able to gobble up the Grumpy, get that for himself. Unfortunately, wasn't able to be leashed over to BRTT, but still does deny Elyoya just ever so slightly here. But yeah, clearly in the early levels, the AP Kog'Maw surprising a little bit, can just line up the minions with the E. Is that Toxic Spittle? What is that one?
Toxic Spittle is the Q.
That's the Q. Okay, well.
Armor reduction. But I think one of the things I really like about this opening first few minutes, Mad Lions as a team, as an organization, and their support staff have always been respected for how much prep they do and how much research they do. And in the new Axe Effect replay, you can see this invade and the coordination with Kaiser.
Oh my god, I'm even realizing too, like the play is nice, but at the same time, oh wait, I thought Karzi was going to finish channeling the recall, because that was going to be crazy. It's like, wow, they're just getting a kill at the same time their AD carry is recalling. They get everything on the map. Karzi ends up canceling it and wasting a couple of seconds there. But yeah, Mad Lions very well executed. Still all summoners on the board, right? Karioka does have that flash back. And with Robo and Armut both using their teleports towards the top lane, again, very hard to see any action unfold around the bottom lane. But that's exactly where Elyoya rather sees the opportunity. Well, if I can't kill the lanes, I'm going to kill the enemy jungler. It was a red buff invade, then a blue invade, and now fight potentially around the Drake, but Tinones has pry over mid.
All right, so it is Pain Gaming inside the Pit Dragon, around 1,000 HP.
He's going for it. He's sending it. He got it.
Gonna get it. He manages to secure it. Unbelievable play there from Elyoya.
He didn't even have to flash. It's a blast cone over the wall. Smite steals it away and then gets dragged out with a lantern. Elyoya is just styling on Pain Gaming right now.
Fantastic. And also very bold. Very, very bold. Fully trusting the lantern, fully trusting the coordination. And we do have a pause here, as it looks like it's Elyoya. We'll find out from production.
Elyoya's like, yeah, for some reason, Karioka's smite just doesn't work.
But a great, great, great opening.
No, nothing?
Here. No,
okay.
Just smile and nod. Smile and nod. But I want to ask now, does this make you a little bit nervous for the Pain Gaming composition? We were talking a little bit about how, Karioka as well as Robo need to be able to have an impact, need to be able to jump on targets. Gold is still relatively even, but it feels as though it's starting to get scary.
It is. I mean, ultimately, I am not convinced of the value of this Zoe pick. Like, I think that Zoe is already such an incredibly difficult champion to execute well with in team fights, and then when you put in like the zero counterplay abilities in the black in the black shield as well as the lantern, like again, I don't see a realistic opportunity to actually get onto a humanoid or a Karzi, especially the later we get. Again, at level 6, humanoid's ult is pretty big, but at level 11 and 16, it becomes absolutely massive.
And this was the steal inside the pit. So well done by Elyoya and Mad Lions. And like you were talking about, compositionally, like what they've put together, and they're just executing it so well to open up the day. And it's tough as well, because on the Pain Gaming side, there's not a lot of options that they really have available to them. Mad Lions have curated and created every single one of these advantages.
I mean, yeah, when we were in draft, I'm saying like, okay, well, it's already difficult the later we get into this game. Robo was kind of the last switch around, say, okay, now we have the ability to dive into the enemy backline, but, well, Tom can't really move forward like that. Olaf can potentially find some issues there as well, and it was going to come down to the early game from Karaoke to use some early tempo perhaps in the jungle and convert that into a lead, maybe play around Robo in the top lane, make this Camille a valid threat, but Elyoya, after getting invaded from level 1, had this idea of going into Karaoke's jungle twice, stealing buffs, getting a kill, and it really has just stopped pretty much any opportunity for Pain to get something done in the early game.
And it's so difficult for Pain as well because domestically speaking, they do tend to be a team that is very active in the early game. They do tend to get a lot of kills.
Oh, whoa, look at the top lane.
For themselves, and Armut is trying to get Robo low. Remember, there's a lot of damage. The execution ability on the Q, not going to be able to find it. Sonic Wave is flashed away from.
Okay, Armut just with the level 6. That's the big difference in this. Armut!
Oh, fantastic solo kill. Absolutely fantastic.
What? Robo just sitting there and Armut with the E flash, not even going to give a window to react from Robo. It's all starting to fall apart. We said jungle needed to work for Pain. It didn't. We said top lane needed to be a threat. It is not. Armut is just too good. And like I was saying, level 6 from Lee Sin, so much more kill threat than level 6 from a Camille. The upfront burst damage of that Dragon's Rage is fierce.
Yeah, I'm really doing so much work. Plus 15 in CS. Already picked up that solo kill. All of the invades have made Karaoke's life very, very difficult to deal with. They haven't been able to have a huge impact as this is now the play. Waits for that shield to pop and then jumps all the way.
Yeah, this is a trade because Robo got a really good initial trade here, but Armut, I mean, the E damage into the R, luckily Robo flashes away, but now he doesn't have that instant reaction to get away from it. Armut sees him stepping forward for the minion, and that E
so
Lee Sin,
good.
the Emax Lee Sin does a deceptively high amount of damage, and damage that you can't really dodge away from, right? When you're playing against jungle Lee Sin, it's Q max. You dodge Q, you survive the combo, usually. This time around, it doesn't really matter. The Q isn't the main source of damage. That E is massive. The radius on that one, and then the kick, you can't really get away from either.
Almost busy maxing that one, 4 points into it. 267 magic damage, enough to insta-gib Robo underneath his tower, and Karaoke did show his face towards the top lane, but Almut's not really under huge threat for the time being. Instead, he's going to look towards the Heralds.
Yeah, this is good. You can see BRTT and Lucy actually just leaving bot lane in case there was going to be some sort of scuffle in the top river. Not even the level 6 on the Tom Kent. That's why they actually had to get moving a little bit early on, but they are going to end up turning around and heading back towards that tower as the wave comes crashing in. You'll notice, though, Mad Lions realize this humanoid now. You're here, they're just flashing forward.
That's the flash. The Ragnarok will prevent the Dark Binding. Flash away to safety for Karaoke. The Dragon's Rage kick backwards from Armut puts Robo in range of humanoid. There's the X-Tech Ultimatum comes down, and it's an easy kill for Mad Lions. They also get the Herald, and they get out clean.
It's just picture perfect so far. Mad Lions look like they're not going to end up going for the fight. Well, the second BRTT and Lucy turn around. Let's send it, guys. We're going for it. Elyoya gap, Elyoya gap.
Absolutely no doubt about that one. Huge call out. Good shout to Colin Simpson, but also just the rest of the team. I mean, we've not seen too much from this bottom lane. Kaiser went in for the single invade, but Elyoya, as well as the invades with Humanoid and Armut, seem to be defining the early game here.
Yeah, it's Elyoya and Humanoid working together, and the Armut just styling on Robo, because he also had the great kick to send Robo into the rest of the Mad Lions there to send him to the Shadow Realm the second time in this game. And yeah, we'll see it. It's just a flash forward from Humanoid. You have to now pop the ultimate, and well, Armut has the ward hop into Dragon's Rage, sends it straight over to Humanoid. Easy pickings on that one. Elyoya not even wasting his time. He's going to make sure that they pick up the Rift Herald, and now they've got 3 players in the bot lane, because why not with the Crescendum on Aphelios? They can burst through that tower so quickly, and the siege of an AP Kog'Maw, even without items, level 8, it's still too much. BRTT has to back up.
Man, there's nothing he can do. Finishes the recall, despite the fact BRTT has hit level 6 and was relatively close to Kazi. The last few minutes have just pushed him so far behind. Kaiser and Kazi continue to push down on the plates, and Karaoke will get spotted by this ward. Look at the damage already.
Just Humanoid also waiting in the fog of war, even before, you know, punishing Karaoke there and putting down some damage. He was waiting to see, oh, if we actually land a hook, I'm in Lantern range. I'm here, and we can easily get that kill. The range of that champion is absolutely disturbing, and now with the Herald and bot lane, that's the easy turret, and Armut, he has a red buff. He's level 9. That's going to be full max on the E. He's ready to go. Robo can do nothing about it.
The tower falls. The gold lead extends to 4,000 right now. 3 kills, and the Infernal and the Mountain Drake will be spawning in just a moment. And this is a very, very strong opening. Mad Lions looking to finish the first round robin 3-0 as Armut is chasing down a potential another kill. He's got the Dragon Rage available, and the hook shot will get Robo out to safety, but he's falling further behind. 20 CS down and constantly being bullied by Armut.
I've never seen a player use a ward just to get an aggressive trade in lane like that before. Armut doesn't even care, but he's getting him within kill range. Now, Robo has the passive up, which should soak a lot of the damage, but Armut just trades with his E, ward hops away. His E does more damage than a turret, and now his E is up in 3 seconds, and it's time to go for the dive.
As the supporters Kazi and Kaiser rock up, and Robo will be donated away.
Whoa, in mid lane, it's a solo kill. Tinone's just solo killed Humanoid in the mid lane with Elyoya right next to him. At the same time, Pain got the Drake. We'll have to wait and see exactly what just happened on that. Could have just been a good bubble. But now Elyoya even trying himself. It's a dive in the bot lane.
What is happening now? Almost teleport down to the bottom lane. He's going to clear out the minion wave. Thanks to that, Tempest stays alive a few seconds longer and finally will get taken out by Karyok. That's the second kill. But now Elyoya, he's chasing Tinone's. Dark Binding goes wide. Teleport into the mid lane as Robo's going to join the fray.
Huge sleep.
Will land onto Elyoya. He should be taken out. The kill is secured by Robo. 3 back for Pain.
It's a major strike back from Pain. 2 kills in mid, 1 in the bot lane after the dive. Robo is even able to collect a kill himself. So what was a completely mad favored early game has pretty much collapsed in just a moment with the solo kill in mid from Tinone's. They still hold a 3,000 gold advantage, so it's not time to panic just yet. But for Pain Gaming, that is such a huge momentum swing for them to have a chance to come back.
And of course, a number of plates there picked up by BRTT as well. Kill secured for Robo, who was really struggling in that top lane matchup. Was able to jump into mid and help out against Elyoya. But he's lost his tower and continues to be bullied backwards. This was the solo kill on the Humanoids.
Well, he has Blue Smite, which can be very powerful. Gets the slow down, and yeah, it's just 100-0 right there. No flash, of course, on Humanoid, using that in the fight in the river earlier top side. But very nicely done by Tinones to hit the Q from Fog of War, followed up very nicely, and come away with a major, major swing for Pain.
And he needs to do that again and again because Pain are still very far behind, but they got so much in the last few minutes, and Pain not willing yet to get be done. Kraken Slayer was just picked up there by Kazi in the bottom lane, and we're still working towards that first mythic here for Humanoid, but he's level 9 at the moment, making his way up, working towards that second tier Living Artillery, and then it's going to become such a frustrating champion for Pain. As long as he's able to spam out those Rs and just keep Pain at arm's length, that is exactly what Mad Lions want to do.
Definitely. I wonder if Mad Lions want to try and sneak their way up to the tower here. Armwood's level 10, Elyoya behind him. They have a whole lot of tools trying to clear away the wave. I love it. The Gore Drinker. Now the kick to it might just be a kill.
Into the Dark Binding, but the Devour from Lucy will keep Robo alive. And just about the next plate, that's going to be a catch onto Karyok. He throws out the Ragnarok, and Armut is not yet done. Does tag out.
He's crazy. Oh, the damage.
Well. No Dragon's Rage just yet. Doesn't need it for the time being. The Tempest, the Cripple, the Sonic Wave goes out.
Ooh.
Now he's locked inside the baby cage. Turns his attention to Robo. He manages to get one. Elyoya is trying to run up to the fight. Armut will sidestep one. Lands the Q, and that's not enough. Lucy will devour BRTT to keep him alive.
Wow, Armut's going crazy there. Already has his Gore Drinker finish, so he feels like he can conquer the world, and it does end up just being the 1-for-1. Elyoya now way too far forward. He has the Black Shield, but it's not enough.
No, it absolutely is not against 3 members and the CC. Elyoya is just a sitting duck. He stays alive for the time being. The zap and the long-range skill shots from Pain will pick it up, and it's starting to get crazy. Mad Lions starting to get punished.
I mean, these are just like some pretty big mistakes from Mad Lions because it's a 1-for-1 trade, right? And Armut's going to be, okay, it's fine. I bought so much time. Everyone from Pain had to come up and defend it. And hey, Kaiser, you're pushing down the bot lane. So it's a winning trade for Mad Lions, but then Elyoya also is then trying to clear a ward when he's the only Mad Lions player on the top side of the map. You cannot do that, and it has now given Pain a window to strike back. Now, it is still, again, I have to say it, gold advantage for Mad Lions, scaling advantage for Mad Lions, but they can't continue to allow this to happen.
Yeah, the amount of control that we saw from the first 5 minutes has now gone the polar opposite direction, but when you see what Armut is already doing, it is terrifying, and I think Lucy just blocked that Q. Had it flown through, may have tagged on BRTT, but currently sitting 3-2-1, plus 20 CS in the top lane. And Armut is demonstrating absolute masterclass on how to play that Lee Sin. Look at the minimap, Pain Gaming making their way down bottom.
Yeah, they definitely are. Armut should be able to get out of this one, and take it easy while his team gets the objective, but he makes a step into the jungle. He's so tanky, though, with the Gore Drink of the sustain that it's very hard to do anything. My biggest fear is, like, if you've heard Mad Lion's voice comms, they go wild sometimes, especially in late-game situations. Usually it's Carzzy that's going a bit crazy himself, but already showing some cracks here. As with the pressure down mid lane, with the Rift Herald, they do have full control here. 20 seconds before the Ocean Drake does spawn.
Look at the gold difference, though. It's down to 1,000. At one point, it was 4,000. So huge props and kudos to Pain Gaming punishing the mistakes from Mad Lions. 10 seconds until Dragon. The Herald is going to help out a lot.
And notice Robo's positioning. He's been spotted out now all the way down in that bot side jungle, seeing if he can maybe find some sort of entrance into the back line. But Pain, control in the river. Mad Lions are going to fight tooth and nail to try and force them out of this area.
Oh, so much damage from that paddle star. Carzzy's down below half, and Mad Lions, despite the Rift Herald being thrown down in the mid lane, they're a little late to the river. Pain Gaming were unyielding. They didn't concede the position, and now it looks as though Pain will take the long way around, and mid control is what Mad Lions are fighting for.
Yep, they absolutely are. No one really there to try and clear away the minion waves. Pain Gaming going to sack an entire wave to make sure they are the ones to get this objective. But yeah, Mad Lions not even going to bother walking down to the river. It's an easy tower and then jungle camps on the top side. Pick up the top wave as well. But Pain, they're here, and they have some damage with the ports on through. Karaoke is not in the area.
Sleepy Trouble Bubble and the Lantern, that was the tools you were talking about. High Skill Gaming to counter the sleep. Super Mega Death Rocket.
No, did you just say High Skill Gaming?
Did a lot of damage, but Pain Gaming pick up the second Dragon. So they're on track for that Solace 1 potential win condition. They may just need it, because we talked a lot about the compositional challenges they're going to face.
These are all very good moves from Pain, though, because, right, like, they are able to fully commit down towards the Drake, and then Mad Lions are forced off the mid lane tower, so they don't actually trade for the inner because of the teleport in from Lucy and a friend, and then Mad Lions expecting to full clear topside jungle, move to the top wave. Pain Gaming don't care about that. Barrel down mid, they get the tower for themselves. So again, Pain have done a fantastic job at stabilizing themselves. And it is now up to Mad Lions to sort of set the course back in the right direction again, because this lead has been continuing to slip away from them.
And of course, with the two Dragons already on Pain's side, and the fact that we're going to be playing for this Ocean Soul, at some point, we're going to see a battle around that objective. Mad, I feel, have tried to play the lane game, at least from the early stages, but then it got sloppy. They got caught out, they got punished, and that's what allowed Pain back into the game.
Well, we have reached a big break point now for Humanoid. He's actually past it, level 12 now, but level 11 on the Kog'Maw. If you don't know, the range on his Living Artillery, the ultimate that he can just spam out for so much damage, apply the burn of his Liandry's, 1,300 range at level 6. At level 11, it then goes up to 1,550, and level 16, 1,800. It's like the size of your screen. If you're fully zoomed out, you're going to be hitting people from that far away. And now Mad Lions are setting up for this play. Robo has a TP, but there's CC, so he's not going to be able to escape.
Gonna get caught out. Hook shot interrupted by Armored's Arc. Carzzy's gonna chuck out the damage and get caught inside the Hex deck before he picks up his second kill of the game. The thing I want to highlight about that Living Artillery in the range, you need to be in control. You want to have the vision. You cannot afford to have some of those sloppy positions and get caught out. Otherwise, you don't have the time to chuck out those artilleries. But if Mad Lions can siege, if they can set up around an objective, then you can just go fishing and shoot fish in a barrel.
Really clever idea there from BRTT, trying to use his ultimate to interrupt the reset of Carzzy in particular. You notice there was a giant wave building up in the top lane, and if you just delay 8 seconds off of Carzzy, he would have ended up missing a whole lot of those minions. Maybe it would have had to be El Yoya that picks it up. And of course, Carzzy's been doing absolutely fantastically in the gold department, currently sitting at 8,700, the most in the game as far as I can tell. And well, he's going to continue collecting off of those top waves. So if the timing was just a little bit better, that could have had some consequences for Carzzy.
Vanches is in the top lane, Vanches in the bot lane. The Phantom Dancer was already picked up here for Carzzy, and almost there for BRTT completing his second big item. Mad Lions now trying to set up for a play. It's 2 minutes until the Dragon. It's 30 seconds until Baron, and a grouped up Mad Lions starting to push into Pain's jungle, setting up some vision and looking for an opportunity. Pain will be able to back away for now and maybe able to get some damage on this tower.
And the question is, what can Tin Owns accomplish, either in an anti-siege situation or playing around the river, playing around the next Drake that ends up spawning? Because again, Bubble, absolutely useless. this. It's going to be good at maybe burning some of these critical cooldowns, but you have to land so many skill shots to make it work.
Bubble comes out. That's a flash forward from Kaiser into the death sentence. Good damage followed up by Kazi and the rest of the Mad Lions.
Oh.
Stop binding interrupted by the Karyok, a Ragnarok, and that will open up the tower.
Oh, my brain just expanded to new horizons. Karzi's ultimate on the Aphelios with purple gun for the root, then set, like, that's insane range already. Usually champions can't follow off of that unless you're like double flashing forward, but Humanoid's artillery, it lets him hit one or two of those. The damage you get off of that combination is disturbing.
The ultimate siege comp may be an appropriate title for this. It allowed Mad Lions to push Pain all the way back. I also really appreciate Kaiser's play there. He got caught by a Sleepy Trouble bubble, flashed and hooked before he was put to sleep, so managed to provide some additional utility to allow Mad Lions to push forward. And now that the game has slowed down after Pain regained their footing and evened things out, Mad Lions were able to punch back, extend that gold lead once again, and they've secured 5 towers to Pain Gaming's 3. I think that's their game plan with this.
Well, it's weird because like the first 10 minutes, Mad Lions played better than Pain. The next 10 minutes, Pain played better than Mad Lions, I do feel, but compositionally, it feels so challenging for Pain to find that angle to get back in here. We've already seen it be challenging a few times. Now Karyuka doesn't have his ultimate!
It will be available
Just
right
came
now.
up.
It was literally 2 seconds away. Kazi stepping forward. He does not have that Moonlight Vigil available to him. So much damage from the paddle star. The zap goes wide. Death sentence will
Look at the damage from Kog'Maw!
Look at the living artillery being spammed onto Pain Game. We're going to have to zoom out to keep track of it. Spit! Spit!
Move up!
That's all Humanoid's doing. And Pain have to just run for their lives. Flash away from Robo. Chased by the Lee Syndrome. And despite a couple seconds longer, Armut will get the kill.
Yeah, it's all a bait and switch there as Armut turns around and gets the kill on to Robo. You see there, Mad Lions with control over the choke points, the long range damage they are able to put out. Pain Gaming need to have that decisive attack to begin a fight, but it's so hard to find because their only way of getting in there is a really good bubble, immediately countered, or Robo. And if Robo doesn't have the follow-up, if Robo doesn't have the angle, it is just not going to work.
It has felt like when Mad Lions are the ones making the plays and dictating things, their coordination is exceptional. They are comboing very, very well and using all the strengths of their team composition. But the moment one or two of them lose a little bit of focus, lose a little bit of awareness of where Pain are, that's where Pain is very capable of jumping onto targets and killing them. So can Pain manage to curate that? Can they set up wards? It's going to get significantly more difficult. The Mad Lions looking towards the Baron. Teleport is available for Robo, and they're challenging and clearing out the vision.
Very important ward outside of the pit. I assume that Lucy placed, but could have been another member on Pain, will show. The Mad Lions are not, in fact, starting up the Baron themselves. Right now, Karzi's just full pushing that top wave. And, well, Pain, you look at like what tools they have, right? Robo, very good at picking off individual targets. You also have the global advantage of being able to roll into pretty much anywhere with the Tom Kench. Because right now, I think 5v5s are going to be very, very difficult unless you're able to really spread apart the Mad Lions. And even then, may be a bit of a challenge. But because Mad Lions are just grouping as 5 around the Baron, they say, Pain, you must come to us, and this may be a death trap.
There's a ward just outside the Baron pit, so Pain Gaming are fully aware of this. Robo's going to arrive just a little bit late. 8,000 hit points on the Baron. It's going low. Pain Gaming trying to split things up. Sleepy Trouble Bubble will tag down onto Kazi. Black Shield is being held for now. Mad Lions back away. Pain hold the Baron.
Surprising and yet impressive patience from El Yoya. It could have been that his Black Shield was on cooldown, but I don't think it was. It decided not to use it on Karzi, realizing Tinones very likely could not follow up off of it. And even if Tinones had jumped forward with the Zoe, well, you could be bound. And while you do snap back, you are then locked there. You could also be hooked, and Kaiser can follow the hook. More and more of these compositional counters that make it very challenging. Tinones absolutely has to be smurfing here, landing everything, and probably playing more off of his paddle star than just the bubbles.
I think you have to give Pain just a little bit of credit for that one. Didn't commit the teleport as well. Mad Lions trying to force the play, force Pain's hand, and ultimately did not result in anything. Robo's going to shove that wave out. He's now neutralized the CS difference, and despite the gold difference in the kills that Armut has picked up, you still have to respect the damage that can come out. And once again, the game's going to slow down. 2 minutes until the next Dragon. Both teams need to pick up 2 for the soul, so that's a little while away. And it feels as though Mad Lions just want to keep the game at their pace, keep Pain Gaming away, and we need to just keep looking at the wards, keep looking at the vision so they can maximize living artillery options available.
The difficulty is because both teams were able to get, 2 Drakes apiece, we're not going to reach a Soul point until very late into the game. Like, we're talking level 16s for Soul laners, and we've already decided that level 16 for a Kog'Maw, much better than a level 16 for a Zoe, if you can believe it.
Significantly better. 5 members of Mad Lions grouped together. Shield comes out from Armut as well as Alyoya, and Humanoid's got a lot of mana to play with, but you saw how Pain had to fall all the way back. A couple of shots from Humanoid's ultimate sends them reeling.
And Robo still pushing down in that bottom lane. So Pain Gaming doing a good job of not falling victim, full committing into any sort of fight. They realize, hey, Camille is actually much more valuable. If Camille can drag this Lee Sin into a side lane, well, Armut right now offers so much more to his team than Robo. So this is good from Pain, slowing it down, playing for the next Drake. Pain, I do think, have to fight for this Drake. They need to look for Soul Point, for a Soul on the 6th Drake. That's what it's really going to come down to, because again, the critical moments level ups from the Mad Lions are going to be so hard to deal with that massive increase in the Kog'Maw's range.
And what did you say, was 1800 at level
1800, 16? Yeah. Right now it's 1550, which is already big.
And you could see again, like, just the setup to that red buff fight. A couple of living artillery shots is all it took. There was a tag onto BRTT, and I was wondering whether or not Kazi was going to fire out that ultimate. You were talking about the combination with his, I think it's the Gravitum, a purple gun, being able to combo up. And this ward is what helped.
It's still there, yeah.
A moment or two
Might
ago.
have been replaced. I mean, right now they're being completely revealed. Robo may have to end up calling in the teleport, but Tinones, with a good position again at the top of the fight, can use this wall to land the bubbles and bait out those key cooldowns.
Robo going back and forth, unsure exactly where he wants to go. Voidooz comes out, living artillery fired. Baron down to 3,000. Paddlestar will not find
no
the
black
target.
shield now.
And Robo has completed the teleport.
Whoa,
Armut! Armut sends him into the death sentence, but the Devourer is ready. All of Pain Gaming group up, and the damage from Mad Lions is simply too much to deal with. Kaiser flashing over the wall. He will commit his life, but the Dark Binding will connect, and the rest of Mad Lions starting to push forward. Carriot gets chunked down. He's still got the flash available to him. Mad Lions chasing for it. They get themselves another. BRTT escapes with his life for now.
Oh my word, Kaiser going all the way in. He falls in the process, but sets up for another kill for the Mad Lions. Pain Gaming walking away and bleeding. The Mad Lions, they're going to be able to turn back for the Baron, and this should certainly be theirs, or is it Tinones? Has the teleport from the unsealed spellbook and is now back onto the map, but the rest of his team is hopelessly far away.
Super Mega Death Rocket is available for some additional support. Tom Kench Abyssal Voyage will bring in BRTT as well. Dark Binding will not find its target, and Tinones hasn't really had a meaningful impact on these skill shots. 3,000 HP for the Baron. There is a tiny possibility. Everyone dodges the rocket. 1,500, 1,200.
Red team stole the Baron!
It's stolen! Tinones! Tinones gets Baron!
Unbelievable. Mad Lions thought they duked the Jinx rocket, but I can do you one better. A Zoe over the wall.
Do they get the Ocean as well?
Oh my
Putting themselves
word.
one dragon away from Soul. Mad Lions are trying to beeline, but I don't think they'll arrive in time. That is huge. Every time Mad Lions garner an advantage, somehow Pain bring it back.
Tinones used his unsealed spellbook. Of course, TP, the summoner he was rocking with, after teleporting back onto the map, he said, I don't need that anymore. Switched that to the smite and came over the wall. He has the level advantage, of course, but look at this. From over the wall, pops in, takes it. A level up as well, because why not? Brilliant play from Tinones.
Vamos! Pain Gaming. Now, okay, what does this do for the context of the game? They are now even on gold, relative. They've got Baron buff. They've got themselves one dragon away from the Soul, but they still have to get through all of the challenges of the composition that Mad Lions have put together. Humanoid's almost level 16 as well.
Look, Pain Gaming have been doing everything they can to fight back in this game, but it's still so hard for them, and that's what feels the worst, because in these critical moments, Pain Gaming have been able to outplay the Mad Lions, yet team fights still going the way of Mad. Pressure on the map, even against the Baron buff, it's still Mad Lions pushing down the top lane. The Ocean Soul will be the moment where maybe Pain Gaming, if they can secure that, that would be such a big swing for them in this game. But for now, it is about not allowing Mad Lions to take much more off the map. Yes, Pain Gaming got the Baron buff, but this is a Baron buff to stall and maybe allow Robo to play the side lane.
And I think strategically speaking, it's been clear that Robo has wanted to play the side lane, and Mad Lions have been grouping and contesting either vision or objectives. Whether or not they can find an answer of a way to either push faster or deal with Robo will be one of the big questions, and if Mad Lions can once again push themselves back. There's 2 lanes of pressure as the Sleepy Trouble Bubble will tag Alyoya. He steps forward despite the Dark Binding, no meaningful impact, and Mad not yet able to commit. Humanoids in the bottom lane.
There are a few objectives Pain are looking for, so it's a big chunk of damage from Tinones. Right now, Pain Gaming, they want this mid lane inner turret. Remove a lot of the safety options from the Mad Lions. Next, dominate vision control in the bot side jungle. 3 minutes away from the Ocean Soul, so yes, that is quite a ways off. But if they can maintain that for a long, long time, they're probably going to have to reset, but then get back onto the map and deny Mad Lions away into the river. They will have the upper hand when it comes to that critical fight. Again, Pain Gaming are not looking for an inhibitor. That does not win them the game. It only risks losing it. It will be 3 minutes away from that moment that Pain Gaming can take it all.
Oh my word, Pain sitting at 1-1 in the group stage. We picked up a victory and now very, very even with the Mad Lions. Can they set up well enough around that Ocean Drake? It has felt as though the last few Dragons have been a little bit Mad Lions focused, being able to position, get into the river appropriately and correctly. Now they've got one shot to grab that soul.
Again, Mad Lions, major compositional advantage when it comes to the team fights. Now also, because we're 2 minutes away from the Drake, everyone's summoner spells are going to be back up. Huge flashes for like a Karzi perhaps, if there's ever a moment where the Black Shield or Lantern are not ready to go. BRTT is also going to have his over there. Robo has a flash perhaps to extend the range of his own hookshot and get some critical CC down too. These are all going to be very, very important, but nothing as important as level 16 on Humanoid.
Ding, ding,
it
ding.
has been achieved. He also has the Zonias to stay safe, but now Pain Gaming might not even see Humanoid on their screen, and he's still going to be chunking them for stupid damage.
Oh man, do they have the vision? Can they line it up? Combo it maybe with Karzi's ultimate as well.
The real question is, how much ARAM does Pain Gaming play? Because you only see the AP Kog'Maw in ARAM, and already it's starting to do the damage.
Well, for the time being, we don't yet have an answer. Humanoid 0, 1, and 3. It looks like Mad Lions cheating towards north side of the river. It's still 1 minute and 50 seconds until that Baron. Pain Gaming are going to keep pushing. Mid control is crucial if you want to set up in the river and set up for Dragon. Robo also, level 16, has teleport available, and he's now pushing out the top lane.
Mad Lions have no vision in the bot jungle, and now we have an opportunity to see, well, what is the weakness in Mad Lions' composition? Perhaps face checking into enemy territory. Now, you say with all the defensive tools, surely they can walk in, but it really is only Armut that feels super safe about going in and getting that vision himself. And you notice Robo full pushing that top lane. No one's there to defend, so Humanoid is teleporting in. Mad Lions say, with the numbers, we are going to dominate vision. It is now our chance to fight for it. You're going to have to call in Robo if Pain want to contest it.
Robo's not yet pulled that trigger. Teleport is up for him, remember. And keep tracking Humanoid's mana as well. The more he fires, the more expensive it becomes. Mad Lions pushed mid, they've got control.
This is so good for Pain, though, because Robo is still in the top lane. Now, Mad Lions, their counterattack is to try and hit this mid lane inhibitor. And with Pain spread out now, this may be exactly what Mad need.
There's so much damage that can come up. Purple-white on the side of Karzi. BRTT firing rockets from the side. Paddle Star interrupted there by the minions in the tower, not yet falling.
Check this out. Robo still in the top lane, hasn't hit the inhibitor just yet, and Carioca, crucially, canceled his reset. He's in the bot side tri-brush. He is waiting for this to go down. Pain don't even necessarily need to force the fight. He has a flash. If they give him vision, he can get over the wall. His ward has been seen now, and Armut has gone back to base.
Armut's got the teleport available as well. Abyssal Voyage coming in here from
They're going for the base race.
More BRTT inside the pit. It's Mad Lions to pick up the third dragon apiece, so the next one will be for Soul. The inhibitor is taken down by Pain Gaming.
Pain Gaming have 3 players here. They have a Jinx too. They smash through the turret. Armut's going to try his best.
Can they finish this one off? The Dragon's Rage has been used already. BRTT's taken out one tower, starts to pull backwards. Alyoya jumps in. Soul Shackles has been used. That's the first kill. As
Here come the Lions.
The Lantern comes forward as Armut continue to try to put damage, but BRTT stays alive. BRTT keeps shooting the rockets from afar. Karzi steps forward. He's got the flamethrower. Flashes forward, gets himself the fish, and now turns his attention back to Robo. Mad Lions hold the base for now. Tinones is looking for yet another target, and he won't be able to find the kill.
BRTT is getting excited. Tinones landing some crucial skill shots as well. It is tense. It is close. PNG, they lose the Drake. They lose one extra member from the Mad Lions, but they get the inhibitor. They get a Nexus tower, and now, with a Tahm Kench ultimate, with 2 teleports from solo laners ready to go, there is always the looming threat. If Mad Lions are not on top of their side lane game, they could just instantly lose the game. Pain Gaming just exposed a weakness that they may yet attack.
What is the answer to Robo in the side lane? Mad Lions have not committed anything for now. Baron is up 18 seconds before Robo spawns, and Mad step forward, realize nothing's happening, and back away.
Well, the answer could just be picking up the Baron for yourself, and yet, even with Karaoke not immediately there, Tin owns the threat of switching over to a Smite. Carzzy, of course, was just coming back onto the Rift too, so Mad Lions, everything will take a breather for just a moment. Bloodthirster finished on both 80 carries. This game is getting out of control.
I mean, this was the base defense, yeah. Recalls were not interrupted. That allowed the ability for Mad Lions to defend, but huge kudos to Pain Gaming. The resiliency to play from behind. That's how they beat Infinity on day 1. That's how they've managed to keep themselves relevant here today. And now we're in a very unique position. Both teams, one dragon away from Soul, setting up for the next Baron fight.
Side lane pressure is permanent, being applied to Mad Lions. Super minions in the top lane, Robo in the bottom lane. And Tin owns is doing a great job of poking, still making this Zoe work somehow. Mad Lions, they're throwing it all at the Baron here. Will it pay off?
Sleepy Trouble Bubble will tag Kaiser. Baron is going low. Teleport's going to have to be to the lane. Robo will be just a little bit late. Oh, yeah.
TP behind.
Going to be low. Pain Gaming may find the initiation that they want. They get the shutdown to BRTT. It's 2 quick kills for Carzzy. He managed to stay alive long enough to get to safety. Canon will take it out. That's a 3rd kill for Carzzy's Aphelios. Close range champions jumping onto Aphelios get destroyed.
Mad Lions kept the backline alive, and Robo goes in the backline. He just gets burst down. The Aphelios is too much now. Tin owns, he's trying to go for a little bit extra here. Armut put to sleep, slowed down by the tongue lash. Tin owns will be able to get away.
All right, so that will stop the Baron. Robo will lose his teleport, which buys some additional time for Mad Lions. They are the ones that now have the double teleports. Humanoid close to level 18, but they still have to deal with the super minions. They still have to deal with the threat of Robo on the side lane, but they were able to keep Carzzy alive.
But this shows the compositional mismatch here. Pain get a lot of what they want, right? Tin owns on the side using the wall to put down some serious damage, and the TP on the flank, but Carzzy in the middle of a million people doesn't take any damage. Now that he has the Bloodthirster, he is healing instead of going down on the health bar. It's a triple kill, and with all the survival tools at their disposal, BRTT, you can see the look of frustration as he falls, not able to remove the enemy bot laner.
What a fantastic match so far, and look at that damage difference. The ultimate from Carzzy did so much work as Pain Gaming just barreled together.
But Trevor, no one got the Baron. The game is in the exact same position, except this time, flash on BRTT, no flash Humanoid, no flash Carzzy. Mad Lions backline may be a little bit vulnerable.
There's a little bit of breathing room for Mad Lions as Robo is not pushing the bottom lane. Those super minions on the top lane slowly making their way towards the base. Now, Humanoid, how many shots can you hit? This should be such a great position for Mad Lions. They step forward, and this is the vision that we're working with. The observers showing the tension and the decision-making that Mad have to play with.
Oh, it's getting down to so low HP. Karaoke still stuck inside the pit. Carzzy misses his ultimate. It's gone. The sleep does not connect either, though, and Karaoke takes so much damage. He's so low, and we are 30 seconds away from the end game Ocean Soul.
Fantastic play there from Humanoid, continuing to target Karaoke inside the pit. Baron is now regened all the way back to full.
Look at this, though. There's so many super minions in the top lane. Lucy just poured it in. Who'd he take with him? It's BRTT. Oh. Mad Lions have to get back to base.
They're going for the chase. 3 members of Mad Lions sticking onto Robo. It is going to be interrupted here by Karaoke as well. And crucially, it is Carzzy's Aphelios that stays inside the mid lane. BRTT and Tin.
Oh, PNG are going to get it.
Nexus turrets. They've got the first one. They turn their attention to the second. It starts to get chunked down. Pain Gaming get lost. They don't have the damage.
Oh!
Mad Lions live to fight another day.
And the inhibitor respawned even. I don't think it mattered, but the Mad Lions have 5 players alive. Pain Gaming, 0 on the board. 38 minutes in with a minion wave to go. The Mad Lions are going to charge it straight back at Pain.
What a game. What decision making. And my apologies to anyone wearing headphones at home, because we just lost it. Pain Gaming threw everything at the wall and came tantalizingly close to taking down the Mad Lions, but it gets countered and Mad Lions go undefeated in the first round robin. Oh, man.
Just a matter of a second. Honestly, a incredible effort from Pain Gaming. BRTT and Lucy making the call to full send it into the Mad Lions base. They were so close. They knew in the team fights they did not have an answer to the Aphelios. And yet through smart side lane play, a Robo who was down 1-6 at one point in the game still found a way to have an impact and try to get that win.
Mad Lions never had an answer for Robo's side lane push. They simply couldn't. They focused on the objectives. They tried to pull Pain towards them. And ironically, the biggest bait of all was the Nexus. They pulled Pain all the way forward.
Oh, man.
And so close. There was a couple of auto attacks, I think, away from being taken out. Right at the beginning of the day, an MSI countdown, Venice was saying that one of the players you wanted to look at to step up was BRTT, and it was his last auto, so close. But for him and the rest of Pain, the willingness to go for that play, it does show their desire.